Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to share some thoughts and some personal experiences about manifestation and what I've really learned about how to manifest things in my life. And I also wanted to share what kind of factors influence manifestations, because a lot of people, I think, are out there trying to manifest certain things for themselves, but don't maybe perhaps understand that there are certain underlying things that um, really need to be sorted out first before you can truly manifest something. And there's really an important factor when it comes to manifestation, and that would be vibration and frequency, right? So your thoughts, your feelings that you're projecting out of yourself very much connect to the things that you are actually trying to manifest, whether you're conscious of it or not. So a couple of things I'm going to mention in terms of influences. Again, these are things that I've experienced myself. It's through my own personal journey of manifesting and of trying to manifest things for myself and in my life. I've really learned these things kind of the hard way in a in a sense, because even though I've definitely studied and I've learned and I've read books about manifestation, I really noticed that as much as you apply certain principles and certain things when you're trying to manifest something, especially if it's something big for yourself, if there are certain things within you that are not in alignment or that are not right, then it's just not going to come, or it's not going to come in the time that perhaps you wish for it to come. And that can really set us off. It can get us very frustrated, feeling very powerless, feeling very much like we're not capable of manifesting things, or especially good things for ourselves, right? So, but that's not actually the case. We are all manifesting all the time. It's just a matter of what you're manifesting, which really, really depends on what you're projecting out of yourself. But some of the factors that do influence what we manifest at all, at any given time, are the very first thing would be like your belief system. So, first of all, I think it's important to check in with yourself and just figure out what your belief system is about the things that you are trying to manifest for yourself. What do you believe about those things? Do you believe that you can have it? Do you believe that you are worthy of it? Do you believe that you can really, be that thing or be that person, or whatever it is that, like I said, you're trying to manifest for yourself, or if it's a job, or if it's money, partnership. Like, worthiness is a huge factor that influences what we receive in life. And so the more I noticed for myself that I work on my worthiness and feeling worthy of having things and really understanding and appreciating my own value, the more that I do that, the more that I'm actually raising my own frequency, and the more that I'm actually manifesting things more effortlessly for myself. And that effortlessness really truly comes from alignment. That's the key. Alignment is what makes manifesting effortless. And so when we're not in alignment with something, then it's just so much harder. And in that moment, we're still manifesting. We're just not manifesting exactly what we want. So that means if we're in this constant state of manifesting, then, and you don't like the things that you're manifesting, or perhaps you're not happy with what you see around you, then, ask yourself where you are on your own worthiness ladder. Ask yourself, how truly worthy do I feel? How much do I actually desire this thing to be in my life? And why do I desire it in my life? Like, why do I really want it? Understanding your why is actually really, really important. My God, everybody is cutting grass today. This is, oh my God, I just have to share this because I've been at it for the last hour trying to record, and there's always somebody cutting something. I love spring and I love summer, but this is so annoying trying to record outside. God, sorry, people. All right, I tried waiting for them to stop, but they're taking too long. So hopefully, I'm sorry, guys. I'm hoping it's not too loud and you can hear me properly. But I just need to kind of keep going, otherwise they're going to completely throw me off my game here, my flow. So, yeah. So just getting back to the manifesting and all of that. So another thing I want you to think about when it comes to manifesting is what you are trying to manifest. Is it big or is it small in your mind? In your mind, do you make it big or do you make it small? Because I noticed that when I make something small, it is just so much easier to manifest, because in my mind, when something is really big that I want to manifest, like completely random, but I'll just say like a lottery win, for example, right? Lots of people want to manifest a lottery win. So when you have that, you're not going to be in alignment with that lottery win, because you're not in a state of knowing that you're receiving that money. You're in hopeful energy, which is, and you're in, this energy of like, well, maybe, but you don't truly believe it, right? And so if you don't truly believe it, then it can't come, and it's not going to come because it's not in alignment with you. What we believe really factors into what we manifest. And everything actually that you believe about yourself and that you believe about your external environment actually becomes true for you, and even if it's not necessarily true in general, it becomes true for you because you believe it, and because you put that energy of belief, puts so much momentum into it that it really creates it and manifests it for you and makes it a reality. So this is why it's so important for us to pay attention to what we believe about ourselves, because if you believe negative things about yourself, you're actually going to manifest those things. Particularly when it comes to like self-diagnosing and like disease and different things like that, I always say to people, be very, very careful not to misdiagnose yourself, or don't take imbalances within the body as something that is, oh, for fact, I've got cancer or whatever because you've got XY symptoms. Like, do not do that, because that is actually how you end up creating and manifesting it for yourself, because it's your belief that is creating it. So, but when it comes to just other things, and like a relationship, for example, there's so many women I talk to that would like to have a very balanced and happy and good relationship, but they don't really believe that they can have it. They don't believe perhaps that there's, men out there who are going to step up and fulfill their role as the women would like, or whatnot. So there's just a lot of belief issues fundamentally within people, and that's why they can't manifest the things that they truly desire. But not just belief. So again, is it big or small? Ask yourself that question. And can you make whatever big thing that you want, and can you just make it small? Can you make it like so small that it's just like, oh yeah, it's perfectly normal. It's just as normal as, me having a nose on my face. Like winning the lottery, oh yeah, it's just as normal. Like if you don't make it a big deal, it isn't a big deal. And as soon as your mind starts to adapt to this new idea that it's easy to have that thing, then it actually does become easy to have that thing. Now, that being said, not everything is always meant for us. So sometimes we can't manifest what we want and what we truly desire because perhaps it's not meant for us, or perhaps because it's not right for us. So something here that needs to be discussed is divine timing. And I don't think people usually mention this when it comes to manifesting videos. I've watched a few of them, and this wasn't something I really saw, but divine timing is another piece. You can't control that. So it doesn't matter if you try to manifest until you're blue in the face to have something come together. If you're not in alignment with it, which spirit, source, the universe knows that you're not in alignment with it, it's not going to deliver it to you. Even if you're doing the mental work, even if you're doing the emotional work, there's not going to be an alignment, a natural alignment, because there are perhaps unforeseen circumstances that need to be sorted out. Perhaps there are internal evolutionary processes that you have to go through in order to be able to have that thing in your life, to bring it into your life, which again comes back to raising your vibration, right? Getting up to a higher plateau within your spiritual evolution. So I noticed that that was definitely a factor for me. It didn't matter how much I wanted a certain thing. If that thing isn't ready for me, perhaps, or if I'm not ready for that thing, then it's not going to come into my life. And that is, like, there's a part in manifesting where you have to come to this place of acceptance. Because when I came to this place of acceptance within myself, and I said, okay, if, for me, relationships have been a difficult thing for most of my life. So if I want to manifest a really great partner for myself, then first I need to make sure that I'm really, really great. First, I needed to make sure that I was aligned actually to myself and with God. And the more that I do that, the more time I focus on creating this balance within myself and getting to such an incredibly high place of self-love that nothing can shake that. That is true alignment. That is what brings it in. And that is the process that I've had to learn through my journey, especially over the last few years. There was this huge emphasis on self-love for me and really aligning to my own truth and aligning to myself in a way that I have not aligned before. And that has really shifted my manifestation game. Like, it's really changed things for me. And I've really noticed how I'm manifesting things in a very different way. And it's so effortless because I'm manifesting it through my energy field, through my literally just my vibration. It's not even something that I necessarily have to think about or feel into too much, because when your vibration naturally elevates, your thoughts and your feelings naturally elevate with it. So you're going to have less and less negative or toxic thoughts or invasive thoughts or whatnot, and you're just going to start to feel more natural in this state of flow, in this state of balance. And that really, really helps you actually to be able to manifest. That is the place where we manifest from, when we are in a state of flow and in a state of balance. So a lot of people that are completely out of balance are trying to manifest balance for themselves without realizing that they need to do the internal work actually first to align themselves, to balance themselves. And I'm going to use a job as an example. So if you're somebody that's like looking for a job right now, or has been seeking a job, or would like a higher paying or just better job in general, and you're just not, you can't seem to bring it in, like it's just not happening. You're putting out applications and you're trying to apply for things, but it's not happening. The reason why it's not happening is because you have to keep in mind that there is divine timing in order. And perhaps you need to have some time off right now. Perhaps the universe has actually blessed you with a job loss so that you can have some time to yourself, to reconnect to yourself, to your essence, to slow down a little bit, to reevaluate your life, to reevaluate your desires, your goals, to reevaluate what fulfills you. And if you don't take that time out when you're given that time because you're just stressing and all you're focusing on is like how much you just want this new job and like you want another job, or like how much you're stressing about perhaps money, and then you're really actually going to delay this process of this new job coming in because you're not doing the internal work. So the internal work has to be done first. You have to understand and notice that when something isn't coming together for you, there's a much bigger purpose behind that. And that purpose is usually God's protection. That's God giving you a free pass. It's God giving you time off, literally, so that you can focus upon yourself, because a lot of people are extremely external. And one of the biggest things that I learned over the pandemic was how to be more self-nurturing and how to be more comfortable just being with myself and with my own presence. And it was a bit tough. I was such an extroverted kind of, like, I'm introverted but extroverted. I was extroverted in the sense that I was so used to always being around people and like coaching and talking to them and just like super social. And literally I had no time for myself, like, ever. And then once the pandemic hit, obviously that changed that entire situation for me. And I got into like major hermit mode and isolation. And initially I thought, what a terrible thing. And I cried a lot and I really struggled with it. But that actually was the process and the evolution of me shedding this codependency issue that I had with other people, of like always needing to have people around and whatever else. And so the pandemic forced me into this pause. It forced me into job loss. Actually, I lost my job over the pandemic as well. Like we couldn't work at all. And it really forced me into reflection, into spending time with myself, and to completely reevaluate my life. And like I said, at first, I really struggled with that time off. I felt useless. I felt like I was, wasting time. I felt like I wasn't being productive. I felt like I wasn't putting in enough effort to find a new job or to do new things or whatever. Not realizing the whole time what incredible value that time off had for me and how much it was really actually giving me, even though it seemed like a loss. So a lot of times when you lose a job, that is never a loss. It's actually a gift from the universe. And really allow yourself just to have a bit of time to reflect and figure yourself out and really think about, okay, like, why did I lose this job? Why did this need to go from my life? How was it causing imbalance within my life? Because if you look at any job you've ever lost, you're going to realize that it was like good riddance. Like, it was definitely something that needed to go from your life. It was something that was draining you in perhaps ways that you didn't even realize. And so that loss is a gift. So, can you embrace the gift now and focus on manifesting something new, but something better, something more fulfilling, something more exciting for yourself? Like, that's the time that you were given to focus on that, not on the loss itself, but on having the new and what that new looks like or what you want it to look like. So, divine timing is very important. It is something that I had a really difficult time with. Just the trusting part, and really understanding. Like, it took me a while to understand that divine timing truly is divine. It just always works out so much better for us than we think it's going to. And the more that I try to control a situation or the timing of a situation, the less I'm allowing flow to happen and the less I'm going with the divine timing, the less that I'm understanding that and the purpose behind it. So be aware of that. Like, don't let yourself fall into that trap, because a lot of people do. And so always know that there's underlying purposes for things not coming together when perhaps you want them to come together, and that's okay. And remind yourself that you may not always see the bigger picture. So sometimes our perception is extremely skewed, right? And we fall into the trap of certain cycles that we're really, really used to. And a cycle for a lot of people, especially when it comes to jobs or job loss or getting new jobs, certain cycles for people when it comes to work is that work has to be hard and it has to be difficult and stressful. And the universe is actually shifting all of us out of this energy right now. It's pushing all of us to start recognizing that, hey, people, you don't have to work the way that you're working. You don't have to kill yourselves the way you're killing yourselves. Like, you could work so much easier using your gifts and your talents that are naturally given to you at birth, and using those instead of doing things that you're perhaps not into, not good at, and you're just doing it because it's a job and it pays the bills. Right? So there's this whole reevaluation around work for us right now, especially with Jupiter and Taurus. Oh my God. Like, for the next year, for the next 12 months, this is going to be a massive focus for a lot of us. Work, how we value work, how we look at work, the type of work that we do, and the alignment when it comes to work, personal alignment and personal truth when it comes to work. These are massive themes right now for this entire summer, for this entire year. So that's something to also think about when it comes to manifesting work specifically. The other thing to be aware of is notice that there's a difference between wanting and having. So the more that we are wanting something, the more that we are signaling to the universe that we do not have that thing, and therefore we are in lack. And that lack mentality creates more of the lack. It creates more of not having it. So I had to really notice for myself how I needed to pull myself out of wanting and put myself into having, into the energy of having, and believing that I already have the things that I desire, and just trusting that the unfolding of it will happen in divine timing. And that's a hard one. That's a really hard one. It can be really difficult to trust something invisible, something that, is not tangible necessarily, and just go with it. But that's the test. That's a part of being here on earth and formulating this connection with the divine, right? This is how we grow into formulating this connection is by learning to trust. And like I said, that's one of the hardest things to do. But once you do it, and once you completely surrender and just let go and trust that the divine is always working everything out for you in your favor and in the favor and the highest good of everyone that is involved, when you start to really embody that knowing, you're going to just relax. You're not going to be so hung up on trying to control manifestation, or trying to speed it up, or trying to make it happen, faster, or in a certain particular way. You're going to be able to surrender all of that. And there's such freedom and liberation in that. It's really quite incredible. It's a journey, though, to get there. Yeah, so like I said, the importance of acceptance, something that I just mentioned, is definitely, it's a game changer. Like, it really changed my entire perspective about certain things and when they come into my life. So just know and just understand that whatever is for your best and highest good will never pass you by and will always be present for you, and is always present for you. All you have to do is align and be more open-minded and really allow yourself to flow with your own intuition, and start trusting your own feelings and your own intuition about things. So again, if you are being given time off right now, you've been laid off perhaps, or let go, or whatever, then take that as a blessing and as a gift, and use that time to really rebuild yourself, to really amp up your internal power, and also to put yourself into this place of trust, of really, truly trusting the divine to work things out for you. Because the more that you do that, the more everything will just really start to flow. And it really is personal experience. Like, I've noticed this time and time again. And believe me, I've struggled a lot, and I have spent a lot of nights crying over things that I wasn't able to kind of make happen faster, and I wanted certain things, but I didn't understand at the time that there was other things within me first that needed healing, that needed growth, that needed to be understood, and wisdom and knowledge that needed to be integrated in order for me to really have the things that I was desiring. And if you are trying to skip that work and not do those things, then you're going to manifest something, but you're not going to manifest really what you truly want. Or even if you do end up manifesting it, just because you're so incredibly focused on it, thought and feeling focused on it, we can bring things into our world that way, but it may not last, or it may not turn out the way that we expect. So these are things to be mindful of, because the more mindful I am of these things within myself, the more I just start to relax, and the more I'm going with the flow. Like, I'm really not trying to control things. I am now at a point where, for me, manifestation comes based on my intuition. So if my intuition is saying, like, chill, relax, this and that's coming, then I really start to chill and relax, and I start to push away those negative thoughts or those intrusive thoughts that are trying to convince me that I'm not going to get what I want. Of course I'm going to get what I want. We all get what we want. It just may not be exactly when you want it. So if you can accept that, be okay with it, then things are actually going to come in a lot faster, because maybe that's what you need to learn, is acceptance, or patience perhaps. Or maybe you just need to learn how to relax, how to be in a state of flow, how to accept every situation as it is when it comes, and not be so hung up on wanting to change it. So, and one last thing I want to mention is just check in with your own value system. It's really important for you to understand what is important for you and why it's important. When I checked in with myself and what I found valuable, I now realize that peace and harmony have become right at the top of my list when it comes to my values, where ironically and weirdly, like, of course everyone wants peace, but like, it wasn't something that I consciously thought of, like, oh, I want peace in my life. Like, it was always more like, oh, I want a house, or I want this car, or I want, like, it was always physical things, right? And now the very top of my value list is like peace. I want joy, harmony, fulfillment. These things are much more important for me. And when I focus on having that and being that, embodying that, I find that I am that. So I feel more and more inner peace every single day. I feel more and more guidance. I feel more and more trust every single day, because those are the feelings that I'm focusing on. And anything that I feel is perhaps lacking or I'm not having enough of in my life at this time, then those things, I try to look at them and say, okay, how can I fill this void? Because if I'm seeking something outside of me, then that means that I still have work to do when it comes to being happy on my own within myself without that thing. You see what I'm saying? So the more I work on that, the more it just allows me to embody peace. And that embodiment actually starts to attract things to me way faster. Because there are some things that I can manifest like that, like so quickly. And then other things that I deem bigger, obviously are harder. Because, not harder, but just slower. Those things manifest slower in my life because I believe and feel that it's going to take longer because it's a bigger thing, and maybe I'm a little bit more scared of it or unsure of it. So, but yeah, that's all just BS. Nothing is big, nothing is small, everything is the same, and just believe that it's yours. And that's it. So there you go. That's my Friday message, guys. I hope you manifest the shit out of this weekend and bring something really good into your life. Focus on that, and more than anything, just focus on the present moment and enjoying it and being in it and really embracing it. That actually will bring you the most amount of happiness. So that's it, guys. That's my message. And I will see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful, beautiful weekend. Take care.